Welcome back to another Tropical Outlook and discussion. In this one, we're going to be taking a look at the latest on the tropics. And that is right, you guys. You see it right there. The Atlantic is about to explode. The cap that everyone that kept saying the Atlantic is a bust, the Atlantic is a bust, I'm afraid that has now trended to not going to happen. And the Atlantic is just about to go crazy. We're going to have two videos today. One about the Northeast and the leftovers of Debbie and its impacts to the Northeast. But in this one, we're just going to be taking an in-depth look of the Atlantic hurricane season outlook. So, first step here is the MJO, the Madden-Julie oscillation. There it is. So, in the green, that is favorable, and the red is not favorable. I know now, as you can tell, we are this is about the 7th of August, the 12th of August, all the way up to about the 12th of August. These waves ain't going to be coming as robust, but they are coming in pretty robust fashion, still with a low Madden-Julie oscillation. But in the next coming weeks, we look at August 22nd, the 27th, September 6th, September 11th, even September 16th. For the rest of the month of August into September, the favorability is perfectly there. We have a very strong MJO, not just across Africa, all the way into the Atlantic, the United States, even South America. So a very positive sign for the Atlantic hurricane season to make up for what it's lost. We take a look at the above average precip. This is in the next coming months into November. There it is. So a lot of favorable conditions in the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico. Not in November. November kind of gets a little dry out in the northern Atlantic, but we're gonna have to see with that. But very favorable calls to the MDR, Caribbean, even Gulf of Mexico in the next coming months. So that's your latest update on the way above precipitation and waves in the Atlantic. So that's another sign that is the Atlantic is about to explode. We go here. I haven't showed this in a while since my outlook's June. This is the NOAA prediction: 17 to 25 names, 8 to 13 hurricanes, 4 to 7 major hurricanes. As you guys know, we had already one major hurricane and 2 hurricanes. Probably going to be our 3rd hurricane coming up soon, by next week or so. And we are about to be at 5 names. AccuWeather, 20 to 25 names, 8 to 12 hurricanes, 4 to 7 major hurricanes. The Weather Channel, 25 names, not hurricanes, 12 hurricanes, 6 major hurricanes. Penn State, 27 to 39 names. I do not believe in Penn State's going to be accurate anymore. There was a slim possibility if the Atlantic exploded in May and June and July, but really hasn't. I'm more on the low end of these forecasts, but 12 to 18 hurricanes and 5 to 10 majors, as you guys know, what we already seen. And then Colorado State University is the lowest, 23 names, 12 hurricanes, 6 majors. So they are expecting another 5 major hurricanes and about another 10 hurricanes. And they are forecasting probably another 15 names. Alright, next slide here. This is the pattern we are going into. This is a very in-depth look. So, in the top there, it says producing an upper level winds regime over the Atlantic that is relatively conducive for storm development. La Nina increases the number of hurricanes that develop and allows stronger hurricanes to form in the Atlantic. The chances for the continental U.S. and the Caribbean islands to experience a hurricane increase substantially. We already seen all these storms, all 4 storms has made a landfall. 2 of them in Mexico. I think 1 in Texas, 1 in Florida, 1 in North Carolina. The Caribbean islands had a few storms. Beryl was a big one. Mexico was impacted. All these storms, even the A-name storm, and Chris. Alberto and Chris all made landfall in Mexico. Beryl made landfall in 4 different spots. But that just shows you we are entering a La Nina pattern, and with the La Nina strengthening, means the chances become even more likely and more substantially, and then and decreasing in El Nino. We took at the bottom here the 3.4 region in the last month. It has plummeted significantly. I mean, pretty significantly, and I've been looking at today. That was yesterday's look of it, but today's same thing, about averaged out at the top there in the blue and starting to already go back down. Then we look at the top, there it is, more wind shear and less hurricane activity in the East Pacific, stronger trade winds and cooler water temps. Less wind shear equals more hurricane activities in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico and in the MDR. Now we take a look at chances for landfall. Like I said, the chances rise significantly. We had Beryl. Beryl went through, let's do the math here. I know we had a landfall up here. I know this is a little bit off, but we had a landfall up here in my black marker in Florida. We had a landfall in North Carolina right here. We had a landfall over here and even over here in Mexico. We had a few landfalls like here. We had a close landfall here, and then a landfall here. So all these storms, I mean, I said purple, extremely high chance, and what I've circled with high chances is already has been in landfall category. Kind of not with Beryl. Beryl kind of was more in the red/orange. That was pretty surprising. But the next storm that we're going to be taking a look at probably has a high chance of making landfall in the northern islands, right in that purple, even into the Dominican, the Bahamas, that next wave. And then the next wave after that, we don't know, but there's a higher chance of development. Now we go into the next slide here, is the ocean heat content. Last year, the ocean heat content was pretty significantly a lot of OHC across here, but we look at today's, a lot more OHC across the northern Atlantic, even the Gulf Stream, north of Puerto Rico, Jamaica. Remember, we had Beryl, so that took out some of the ocean heat content. Still recovering. The Gulf of Mexico is with a lot of OHC. And then you could tell across Africa quite a bit there. And then if we go here, this is my names. I'm kind of wanting to trend a little downwards on it. I did predict 26 to 30 names. That was back in May and June. 11 to 16 hurricanes and 4 to 7 major hurricanes. We already seen one. So for me to be right, I'm gonna have to hit like 26 names. I might lower the names to about 24 to 28. That will be my guess. This will be my best guess. But last year we had 20 names in El Nino, 7 hurricanes and 3 major hurricanes. So we definitely have more hurricanes to come. Comment down below if you guys think I should stay with the my hurricane outlook and just let my gut be the gut of keeping it. I know it was back in May and June. Should I keep it or should I change it to 24 and 28? Leave a comment down below. But speaking on that, we got some other things to look at in the Atlantic. There is the leftover Debbie bringing a lot of cloud cover. Probably going to continue to bring cloud cover across the Northeast for up to about Saturday. So expect a very rainy tomorrow and a very rainy day today. In my area out of Debbie, we did see about 4 inches and a quarter of rain out of Debbie so far. So pretty crazy. We already seen about almost 1/10 of an inch of rain today. I expect that to maybe go up quite a bit. And tomorrow will be the big day where we will add on probably another few inches. Then, if we look at the Atlantic MDR, there it is. The wave here that we're going to be watching is already starting to get some rotation here, all the way back here. This wave could be entering the Caribbean or go north of the islands and kind of go out like that. That's a possibility. Or it goes a little closer and does something like that. Or it goes a little bit more south and then does something like that. That's the possibilities out of this new tropical wave. So, let's take a look at something else here. And this is the water temperatures. I know this is going to be a lot of information thrown at you today, so if you guys need to skip through the video and find what you guys really want, then go ahead. I get it. Alright. But this is the Atlantic MDR sea surface temperatures anomalies. Here it is. This is at right now plus 0.457. So about almost a half degrees above average water temperatures on average. That is starting to slightly go up since July. So that's an increase there of that. If we take a look at the sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic, there it is, that 27, 26 degrees, all the way up north of these islands of Africa. Maybe 25 in the furthest north of the islands. I do not know the names of those islands. But across where these storms will be developing, you're looking at about 27 to 30 degrees Celsius in spots, especially in these darker reds. But as you start getting closer to the Caribbean islands, Puerto Rico, north of the islands, yeah, you see 29, 30 degrees Celsius, more widespread, probably even a 31 in the shallower waters. So that's pretty significant, you guys, to see that. Alright, let's take a now look at the Caribbean SST anomalies. Pretty much has been averaged out above a half degrees, about plus 0.704. So pretty significant there. We're going to have to see if that continues to rise or not. We take a look at the Gulf of Mexico. That is on a rise too from the big drop back in June. Been steadily increasing, but lately it has increased dramatically. We're going to have to see if the waters continue to warm dramatically, because if the waters continue to warm on average dramatically in the Gulf of Mexico, we're going to have some major issues if we do get a storm in the Gulf of Mexico in September or later on August. There is 0.8823, so that's very significant. Then, there it is, you guys, the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, and it's crazy, you guys. We have waters to almost 99%, I would say about 99 to 98%, the whole Gulf of Mexico is about 30 plus degrees Celsius. If you put that into Fahrenheit, that's about 89 degrees Fahrenheit across the entire Gulf. We do see some of these lower water temperatures off Cancun, the north of Cancun and Mexico here. That's still, if you guys might think, oh, that's a lot colder, it's honestly only about 88, 87 degrees, so not even too far off. Florida Keys, and then you guys can see about 31 degrees Celsius for some of the Bahama Islands, even parts of Cuba, the shallow parts where Beryl went through, the waters still are continuing warm. But near Louisiana, we have recorded temperatures 33 to 34 degrees Celsius, bathtub water. That is 90 to 94 degrees Fahrenheit in the water temperatures across Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi. That is extremely warm. So if you guys want to go to the beach and plan your last beach trips before school starts up, I suggest going anywhere in the Gulf of Mexico. Extremely warm. The waters near South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia and Florida has cooled down on the eastern side. Starting to warm back up, but with Hurricane and Tropical Storm Debbie, that did significantly cool down the waters to about 20. We do have about a spot 26 degrees Celsius, but still very major waters. Still about 27 degrees. That'll be about 80 to about 82 degrees waters if you guys go off the Florida's coast and Georgia and South Carolina. But speaking of the waters, let's get into something else. And this is the ACE, accumulation ACE so far. And that's pretty significant. Look what we see here. We are way above average. We are at 40 ACE points. 40.2. I expect this to dramatically go up with the rest of the season. This might get into about the 160s to maybe even the 200s ACE. And that is a very concerning picture that we are seeing. We see ACE on July 9th, around 36.1. On average, we are supposed to be at like 2% ACE. That's extremely significant. Where we are is where we should be on September 1st. We are supposed to be around that 40.2 around August 31 to about September 1st. We are about half a month ahead of schedule. And we do see that incline dramatically go up. On average, you get about 122.5. So we're going to have to look at that. But that is remarkable that our average. Let's just take a look, you guys. We see this here. And then right there, we are way above average. And with these next coming storms, I wouldn't be surprised if we get to about 60 in the next coming months. Maybe even faster. We're really going to have to see that, alright? Just a very concerning Atlantic. Alright. Now, speaking on that, let's take a look at another anomaly I'm going to like to share. And then we're going to take a look at some models. I know this is a lot of information being thrown at you. Once again, subscribe, like, and share. Because I'm going to be doing these tropical outlooks as much as I can. And making many more videos as the Atlantic continues to go through. And then when winter comes, we'll be doing multiple winter videos, especially when we get those big nor'easters across the Northeast and blizzards. So be prepared for that because I do make my own snow forecast for those too. But now let's take a look at the CFS. Alright. This is for, so pretty much basic terms here. Red, you do not want to see. Green, you do. You don't want to see green. You want to see red. Red is sinking motion. That means thunderstorms that develops collapses. Or it's not, it's like another version of the MJO I talked about earlier. Alright. But we take a look across this week. A lot of activity already starting to develop off the African coast. That's why the models are going very crazy. East Pacific, you got that downtrend. But let's take a look into 2 weeks from now. And this I have never seen. Even in 2020. I never seen it this dark green before. This is extremely significant. You guys, some of these anomalies are off the charts. We're looking at negative 1.0. This is rising motion across Africa. Remember, these tropical waves usually comes off Africa. That means the Atlantic is about to be producing wave after wave after wave. And with the favorability in the Atlantic is about to be unreleased. Alright. This upwards motion is about to produce wave after wave after wave. The dry air has died down. The Saharan dust is pretty much gone. But this is remarkable seeing this. I mean, across the whole African, North Africa, South Africa, way above average precipitation and not anomalies for the waves. This tells me we're about to see a major uptick. I wouldn't be surprised if you can call this an hyperactive season about to explode upon us. I don't like using the word hyperactive because people get it wrong and expect 20 named storms in just a few weeks. Hyperactive means quantity over quality. And it does produce a lot of names, just a very active period. I do think we're about to enter maybe a hyperactive period, but it's not going to be like a all-out hyperactive season because it will die down again. I do expect that. But now let's take a look at some models here. This is the GFS, and we're going to be taking a look at all these models. So GFS, there's that tropical wave we are looking at in the Atlantic. This will gradually move westward and develop. It's on the next about 4 to 5 days. We do probably get a Invest 97L. I forget which Invest we are on. Or Ernesto is the next named storm, the E named storm. But we do see the GFS develops a tropical storm before hitting the Western Antilles and Puerto Rico. Now we continue to go through, and you tell this gradually strengthens pretty rapidly on the GFS, and I'm pretty surprised. Here, this is August 13th, and we see this become a Category 2 hurricane. Take this for granted. Take it for a grain of salt. This could change. It does change. But we're going to have to really watch this. Goes into the Puerto Rico area crisp. Puerto Rico has a major Category 2 hurricane. A very strong 100-mile-an-hour storm probably. But this does, down the road, continues to move into there. And we see a major Category 3, Category 4 storm. But one thing I'm going to like to take a look at is we are not only seeing one storm over here. We're not seeing this just major hurricane right here. We're seeing another tropical wave, and we're seeing even another tropical wave coming off Africa. This is what I mean about tropical waves just repeatedly coming off one after another, and this is about to occur. This could be Ernesto, that could be the F named storm, and then even the G named storm. Alright, but we continue. That becomes a major Cat 4 hurricane. And this stays as a tropical wave. We continue, and this moves and becomes a fish storm. But look here. Wow. It's pretty remarkable what we're seeing on the GFS. Major hurricane keeps moving up. We have a tropical storm, the F named storm. We got now another tropical wave, the G1. And then we actually have an even stronger tropical wave coming off here. This is what I was showing you guys earlier in the video. The models are starting to pick up on it. Wave after wave after wave. I mean, right there, that could be like 4 invest areas. So, very significant. We are seeing that unfold on the GFS model. We continue to take a look, and that does become a hurricane just north of the islands as a Category 2 again. But then look, we got even another name. We got even another name that comes off Africa, another tropical wave. But if we completely take this out, about 15 days out, take this all for granted and salt, we see Ernesto continue to move across the Atlantic, and we see now another storm getting close to the Bahamas. Once again, another Category 2 hurricane. But this is what I'm saying, and we do see more waves coming off Africa. This is that chance where the Atlantic is about to unfold quickly. Alright. We take a look at the Canadian model. I'm trying to fix this here. Okay, we're good. We take a look at the Canadian model. Right there. There's the Canadian model. This is the latest run, I think. I'm pretty sure this is the latest run. Does have a tropical storm forming out of that in the next 5 days. This will rapidly, pretty much get significantly stronger as it continues to move westward. This does become a Category 2 hurricane, you guys, close to the Western Antilles. You see the GFS and Canadian? That's pretty crazy. But we do see this become a Category 2, and this stays a Category 2, but look, it starts moving out. One thing we do not see 240 hours out, this is about 10 days. We do not see that much other tropical activity. On previous runs it did show, but we're going to have to watch. Now for another model, the European APHIS. This is an AI version of the European model. It does alright, not the greatest job, but I like to look at this just for the future. But there it is, that storm goes across Western Antilles, Puerto Rico, just moves on by Bahamas. We see more tropical waves, but that does become a out to sea storm, maybe for Bermuda. And then looking longer range, nothing really. It changes every run. Alright, it's more of the models we look at it, we sometimes don't. New Europeans coming out, so if you guys want to check that out, go to tropicaltidbits.com. But take a look at, why not, let's take a look at the newest Euro 6Z. Has 2 tropical waves, one right there, one over here, but this only goes 90 hours out. I'm looking for 0Z. This is the longer version of it. Both shows a tropical wave. This continues to move through just south of Puerto Rico into the Western Antilles. We have now 3 tropical waves again. We got one coming off Africa, one in the MDR, and now we got one in the Caribbean. But watch that front storm. It's very concerning what we see on the European, and this is pretty crazy. This goes just about south of Puerto Rico, goes between Haiti and the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, moves north, goes into the Bahamas, strengthened pretty rapidly. You guys can see our 3 other waves right here, and coming off Africa, and look, we even have a 4th wave. So all the knowledge I showed you guys is coming now true with the models. That's what I'm trying to put up and put down. Alright? But there it is, becomes a major hurricane, you guys. This becomes a major hurricane. This becomes a tropical wave right here. And then even another tropical wave. Alright. We take a look at the millibars of the system. And that's 965, you guys. It does show a Category 3 hurricane. Just off the Carolinas and the southeast coast. Moving north. So take that for a grain of salt. But that's what I'm saying. We just looked at a few models, and it's all showing major activity. Another model we're going to take a look at is the Icon. And then I did forget to bring up the ensembles, but I will do that pretty quick. This is the Icon model, the German model, and here. And there it is. It goes about 180 hours out, so about 4 or 5 days out, maybe even 6 days. But there's that front wave, there's a second wave, and there's another wave across Africa. We continue to move this out. This becomes a tropical storm into the Western Antilles. Once again, you see the trend there. Pretty likely that this is going to impact somebody before, even if it's not the continental U.S. We see another tropical wave right here. But we continue to take this out. Strengthens pretty rapidly into a Category 2 hurricane once again, or a strong Category 1. We have another tropical storm and even another tropical wave coming off. And then we even see a 4th wave coming off in Central Africa. Pretty crazy, right? This is the 180, and there it is, you guys. Tell me if this is not active. We see Category 2 hurricane right here. We see potentially a tropical storm here, another tropical storm right here, and then another tropical wave here. That's 4 waves we are watching. That's very significant, and this is another model. So, extremely significant seeing that, and we're really going to have to watch. So, now let's take a look at the ensembles of these tropical waves. We saw one right here in the mid-Atlantic, we saw one right here, and then the third storm. But let's go into about 336. That's about 12 days out, 13 days out, and there it is. A lot of major support on these ensembles for a very strong hurricane. Just scooting by the southeast and mid-Atlantic and northeast. We see even more tropical waves coming after that. You can tell, very busy picture. So what I'm trying to say is the Atlantic is about to explode even after Debbie. But that is probably going to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed this tropical outlook and discussion. Hope you guys had a basic understanding. I tried to put it in better terms than just weather words, if that makes sense. But we will have another tropical outlook tomorrow on the Atlantic. Thank you guys. Please subscribe, like, and if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. Have a great night.